So you think banking and finance is complicated, complex and full of jargon?
Not really.
Okay then, decipher this.
This being the first offer of equity shares, there had been no formal market for equity shares.
Correct. See, it is made out to be complex even though it isn't.
True that. So let's try to break it down for you. We will explain the single most important crisis facing the country, and that includes you.
We mean you as in part of the country, not part of the crisis.
Well, some of those watching this may also be part of the crisis.
Okay, here's what we're going to explain.
How a bank really makes its money and how you play a part in it.
A bank takes your money that you give to it in a savings account or fixed deposit account. You get interest and are thrilled with it.
The bank lends that money to someone looking to buy a car or a house,
or a steel plant or a mine or set up a business worth hundreds of crores. And the bank charges that person interest.
and that interest is more than the interest it pays you for your savings, and that is the profit. And through that profit, it pays its employees, the rent, the office space, your dividend. This profit also adds to the bank's capital that really keeps the bank going.
So how can this process lead to banks making severe losses?
Imagine this guy refusing to pay off his interest.
Forget the interest, he even refuses to pay the principal amount.
Well, the bank's profit and capital are affected, and if the banks aren't careful, your savings are in trouble too. How has that led to the NPA crisis that India is on the brink of?
So NPA is a non-performing asset. For a bank, a loan is an asset because it provides interest income.
When an asset stops generating income, it becomes a non-performing asset.
And when many loans become NPAs, the bank's viability is in trouble.
And if there are too many such banks, then we have an NPA crisis.
Typically, a bank prepares for its NPAs.
Also, if the economy is doing well, NPAs should come down because more people are able to pay back their loans.
But that is not happening right now, even though the economy is doing well. That means the problem is deep.
How big is the NPA crisis?
It's huge. We know this because we have accessed an RBI list that tells us that the total defaults in the system are over rupees 5 lakh crore.
Okay, before scaring me with big numbers, tell me what a default is.
I'm a company and I want a loan for a steel plant.
Hey, I'm happy to give you a loan, but I need to make sure you're going to pay me back. So I'm going to check your profitability. I'm going to check if you have enough assets to back up my loan and whether you behaved well with your previous lenders.
Fair enough. Go for it.
Everything seems to be in order. Here's your loan.
Yay!
Your interest payments are regular and on time.
My steel plant is up and running and it's profitable.
Your last interest payment was due 90 days ago.
What do I do? Steel prices have crashed. I can't meet my costs. I have no other option but to not pay you back.
Your last interest payment was due 90 days ago.
Yeah, with that loan you gave me, I bought a house in London. So I don't have any money right now, but I'll pay you back. Maybe next year, whenever I feel like it. Maybe never.
The RBI list we have names all the people who haven't paid their loans for whatever reason and have been defaulting since 2005.
Who are these people?
A lot of them are public sector companies. Some are private corporations with a somewhat dubious track record.
And what are these banks that have so many defaulters?
Again, it's mostly public sector banks like SBI, Bank of India, IDBI, and insurance companies like LIC and GIC.
So it's mostly taxpayers' money at stake. My money, our money. Are the banks and the RBI doing anything about this?
Well, the banks can move courts against some defaulters, but you know how that works.
Very slowly.
Yeah, and the RBI on its part is trying to get banks to clean up their act, but we don't know how effective this will be because there's so much secrecy around this issue. Who the key players are, which banks are the most affected, etc., etc.
Which is why you need to read Newslaundry's 5-part series based on RBI's list that's not in the public domain. We name top 10 defaulters, explain why it's important to make this list public. We look at banks with highest exposure and all the different factors that contribute to the NPA crisis.
Go check it out.